What is the color?
Minutes onto the hour of 11 minutes. You're locked onto the Clean First Song with FM 99.9. It's time for your Shakeups program. Today's Shakeups scripture reading will be taken from Genesis chapter 1, verses 1 to 3. In the beginning, God created the heaven and the earth was without form and void, and darkness was upon the face of the deep, and the Spirit of God moved upon the face of the waters. God said, "Let there be light," and there was light. That was a Shakeups scripture reading for today, taken from Genesis chapter 1, verses 1 to 3. You're locked onto the Clean First Song with FM 99.9. My Shakeups is an interactive program. So the number to call is 457-9997. The number to call again, 457-9997. Also on WhatsApp as well. Same number, 457-9997. Today's Shakeup host will be Mr. Augustine Ferdinand.
Yes, good morning to everyone listening to the sound of my voice. Morning to you, Richie. Greetings to those of you who are joining us abroad in the diaspora in the US of A, in Canada, the United Kingdom, or many students around the world, whether in Turkey, Morocco, Southeastern Asia, in the Caribbean region. Greetings to those of you who are joining and listening to us via Star and Garifuna Radio. Those of you who are also locked on the live via WEFM 99.9 Facebook page. And greetings to those of you across the length and breadth of St. Vincent and the Grenadines. Whether you're at shop, in your home, driving to and from your destination this blessed morning, wherever you are, greetings to you. As usual, it's an interactive program, and the number to call and get interactive with us is 784-457-9997. That's 784-457-9997. You can call that number or message us and call on WhatsApp also via that number. That's 457-9997. Yes, George, good morning to you from Puerto Rico. Today being the end of October, we're more or less at the end of the Independence Month. I first of all want to give kudos to our Consul General in Canada, Mr. Fitzhuggins, and his team for a fantastic job. Well done. Of course, persons saw evidently not only the flag raising ceremony, but also the lighting of Niagara Falls in the Independence colors, blue, gold, and green. And also to our Consul General in New York, Mr. McIntosh as well. Many persons saw different activities, including lighting of Empire State Building and the like. And then coming home here in St. Vincent and the Grenadines, I really and truly want to commend Mr. Glenn Beach, the CEO of Invest SVG, and his team for a phenomenal job. Well done. Of course, many persons enjoyed Vinci Expo from the beginning to the very end. I know many persons surely enjoyed the concert that took place on Saturday. And you also had other activities at Ichi Joshua Tarmac, including a car racing activity. And I know that very, well, not Saturday actually, the Sunday, sorry. You had a buildup of traffic at Annesville area because of those two activities that took place. And we had many persons who visited the expo, the various small and medium size, even large businesses. ECGC was also there. They had a booth and showcased their different products to the general public. And of course, I want to thank the government and people of Taiwan for also contributing. As you know, they contributed over $40,000 to Vince Expo, so I want to personally thank them as well. So a phenomenal job, well done. I think of all the other months that and years we've celebrated independence, I think this is one where it was filled with numerous activities. And then of course they had the Madongo festival at Rabaka as usual. The Madongo and fish, or codfish. Some persons say saltfish, codfish. I know persons enjoy themselves, and the bikers too. Although in one or two areas I've heard complaints, because of the noise and the like, but it's just temporary. And it was a weekend filled with numerous activities. And then you had through the Independence Committee, even up to recent time as Sunday, in terms of Vibe Out, you had different kinds of activities, sporting, cultural, and the like, that took place. So, like I said, it's a fantastic job, well done. Those in the Independence Committee who are also part of CDC, Invest SVG, our consulates abroad, the different small and medium-sized businesses. Truly, it was fantastic. So pick up yourselves. And of course, it can only get better, And on Independence Day itself, you had the parade. You had a lot of rain. I think the troops prefer the rain than the sun. So and the reason why I say that, I myself experienced about 8 to 10 parades as a cadet. And trust me, you really and truly prefer the rain than the sun. Because trust me, when that sun hit your boots, and as shine as it is, your toes start to get a little burnt. So you had that. Of course, the Prime Minister's address, like he said, we didn't really know what the weather condition would be like. So he kept it. I think this is one of, if not the shortest, speeches that he's ever done. But as usual, every Independence Parade, persons look forward to different announcements, and he had about 16 major announcements made at Victoria Park. And I saw one or two articles and even releases by the NDP. But one of the things that I know may have caught persons by surprise is the increase, as announced by the Prime Minister, that as of January next year. And I want to remind persons also that January next year, public servants are to still expect their 2% increase on salaries, because remember, with the negotiations, the government negotiated over a 3-year period is 7% increase in salaries. And early this year, public servants receive a 2.5% in January. And in addition to that, you also had a tax reduction overall of 2%, from 30% to 28%. And therefore, it means next year, come January, you'll get another 2% increase. And of course, in 2025, another 2.5% increase on salaries. So I know this announcement also because early January this year, in addition to the salary increase of 2.5% and the tax reduction of 2% from 30% to 28%, the government also increased the threshold of taxable income from $20,000 persons who make $20,000 annually to $22,000, right? And as announced by the Prime Minister on Independence Day in his speech, he announced that as of January next year, 2024, that there will be another increase in the threshold on taxable income for persons making $22,000 annually to $25,000. Could you imagine that? So come next year, persons making $24,000 and even less, or $24,900 and less, you therefore, your income will see no charge at all in terms of taxes in this country, you know. And I know that caught many off guard because, again, just early this year, you had an increase in the threshold. And it goes against what you normally hear from the NDP, where they say that the government is killing people with taxes. But this again goes to show that the government remains committed to reducing taxes. But I see we have an early caller, so let us take this call. Good morning, caller. Welcome to Shakeup.
Good morning, Mr. Augustine. How are you?
Greetings, Henry. Good morning. I'm blessed.
Good to know that, bro. Once you're alive, that is a big blessing.
Yes.
That's a major blessing of the
not
of
many
the day.
that fortunate to see her next morning.
Thank you.
Yes.
And not many people in other parts of the world fortunate enough to be able to walk about with as much freedom as we do here in the Caribbean.
Indeed. So we have to give thanks.
We have to give thanks, no matter what it is. It could be just the end of the loaf that the Father has given us. We have to give him thanks.
Yes.
But some people expect to get the whole loaf all the time and not give thanks. Mr. Ferdinand, a couple issues. The Prime Minister's Independence Day address from Victoria Park, in which he listed a number of benefits to Vincentians or citizens of St. Vincent and the Grenadines. And I say citizens because with the free movement in the OECS and it's soon to be, hopefully to be made a reality, the free movement in CARICOM. And after listening to the Prime Minister's address, have we as a people taken stock of what is happening in the outside world and the sacrifices being made by a government, and especially when you juxtapose those sacrifices and benefits against a population size that is small, and you cannot even say, okay, we can have a particular tax to fix roads. That cannot be done. Your population size
exactly
does not give you that freedom. I know persons were saying about that 1% levy, which was added on to handle disasters. But persons need to understand that when you go to foreign agencies, foreign institutions, you need to show them what you are doing to help yourself. It is no longer you going with an empty hat. You have to show them your hat, and in your hat, you have XYZ. so they can appreciate the fact that you are doing what you can despite your limitations to help yourself. But there are persons who want to impose upon the populace a different narrative. And it is crucial that now St. Vincent and the Grenadines is celebrating 44 years of political independence. Have we as a people taken stock of what we do and how we do to reduce wastage and improve productivity in all sectors? Have we as a people decided we are now 44 years old per political independence? Have we as a people insist that our civil servants serve everyone without fear, without favor, and do their work diligently to increase productivity and reduce wastage? I say those things, Mr. Ferdinand, because it is like when you listen to certain sections of the populace, so, a number of our leaders, is that St. Vincent and the Grenadines have everything going in a positive way for it. Money is coming in unchecked. It is flowing in from a never-ending stream, and so you can do so much. And the reality is not that. We are now facing the possibility of increased oil prices.
Yes, that is
when you look at what's happening.
that is something that is being monitored.
Yeah, you have to monitor that.
Given what is taking place internationally.
Yeah, you have to, because with the Arab nations, and I don't know if you could recall, you have read about it, 1974, when the Arab nations decided to squeeze the rest of the world. And with the Arab nations more or less uniting over the Palestinian versus Israeli issue. And the U.S. having imposed sanctions on Venezuela. We in the small islands will be catching our royals when it comes to oil products, petroleum products.
Yes. I always say, Henry, that oil prices in and of itself moves inflation, because everything else is connected to oil, from production of different commodities to the distribution because of transportation. And that is why I often tell persons that inflation here in St. Vincent and Grenadines is imported, because most of the products that we use, equipment and the like, they are produced by oil. They have to be transported by boat, which also use fuel. And then locally, you have to use fuel again to distribute them to the different retailers. And that's how the cost is compounded.
And I'm happy you raised that. And that's why I said certain sections of our leadership, certain sections of the populace want to sing a different narrative than what is happening. And it is important. When you look at over the past days, weeks, months, years, whatever, there is a critical and important decision that must be made now by us. One, how we organize events. Over the Independence Weekend, you had so many foreigners coming in with their vehicles, their bikes, off-road vehicles. I wonder if persons have sat down and looked at the economic benefits of the Independence Day activities. The amount of petrol being purchased, accommodation, food, you name it. And it is critical, and I'm saying this, that the organizers of the bike event, the organizers of the drag racing event need to sit down and don't plan these events by just word of mouth, but have a document. Have a document so that you can make the improved changes. what I saw at Annosville in terms of crowd control that needs to be addressed. We need a motocross track, because when it comes to bikes, this is the crowd puller. They need a motocross bikes. And the number of bikers that would come from Guadeloupe and Martinique, Dominica, Antigua, St. Lucia, Grenada, Trinidad, and probably even further afield. St. Vincent has the opportunity to have one of the major motocross events in the region. And they might look at the holiday Independence weekend or another day. And also the hoteliers. The hoteliers need to have CARICOM rates like the other islands. The economic spin-offs is there for the taking. But it will only happen if there is unity amongst the various organizations and proper planning and execution. And if that happens, then you can truly say, yes, we have an event that makes St. Vincent second to none. And in closing, Mr. Ferdinand, I don't know when you will do it, if you have done it, but I would like you to play the portion of Dr. Gonzalez's speech, because one, he outlined measures to benefit the vendors on the street, and I hope, and I'm calling for on that note, that there will be urgent and immediate dialogue between the hierarchy of the Kingstown board and the vendors in Kingstown. Because what is happening now is an embarrassment. Frankly, the Kingstown board handled the removal of the vendors badly. And as a result, it is both sides that's tugging and pushing at each other. There ought to be dialogue now. Both sides more or less like pull back and have a sit down, because there are issues that needs to be addressed where the vendors are concerned in terms of the areas where they vend in the market space. There are issues as to who should be in the market space, why you have people selling clothes inside there when it was refurbished to house vendors selling wrong provisions and stuff. So the streets have to be clean. And when I say those things, Mr. Ferdinand, people be saying that I am against cleaning the streets. The streets must be clean. It has to be clean. There are no ifs and buts about it. What is needed now is for both sides to take ownership of that, because there are benefits for everybody. There may have to be longer opening hours in the fish market, so fish vendors will not come on the sidewalks to sell. There has to be a give and take. There has to be a give and take. If the Prime Minister is looking at waiving the arrears, rental, whatever, then the vendors themselves must come together and say, okay, let us meet the authorities halfway. Let us do this so they can do this. And we will do that, and they will do that. And at the end, St. Vincent and the Grenadines benefit. But if it continues like that, where people, property is just picked up on the sidewalk and dumped, I'm afraid they're there about the legal backlash. We have been going around in circles over that whole vending issue far too long. It's about time the Kingstown Board authorities have a sit down with the vendors. You may not like the vendors, maybe their political slant, you may not like them of what they may say, but at the end of the day, you listen to them, they listen to you, everybody take a deep breath, and the streets of Kingstown get cleaned up for the benefit of all citizens of St. Vincent and the Grenadines. Thanks a lot, Mr. Ferdinand.
All right, then, Mr. Henry, take care. Thank you for your contribution. But as Mr. Henry ended on that note, another announcement by the Prime Minister is the waiver of debts owed by vendors to the Kingston Board. And in addition to that, the government also waived or is looking to have a complete review of all debts owed by patients and their families to Milton Keaton Memorial Hospital and other health facilities here in St. Vincent and Grenadines up to Independence Day last year. Well, when I saw that, I then saw an article out of Barbados, from Barbados Today, where the government of Barbados said that patients in Barbados owe the QEH, which is the Queen Elizabeth Hospital, over $40 million. And they said that, and I want to read it here. It says, due to the challenging economic climate, the QEH is extending its 25% discount offer for patients who have outstanding arrears, and that the deadline for those payments are today in Barbados. And it continues to say that the Queen Elizabeth Hospital has stated that their team in the corporate business unit stands ready to facilitate payments, and that for persons who are unable to pay their arrears in full, there will be a payment plan arranged, because over $40 million is owed to the Queen Elizabeth Hospital in Barbados. I know here in St. Vincent and Grenadines, normally in terms of debt to our Milton Keaton Memorial Hospital, it does be over at times $2 million. Huh? The last I remember I saw the figure, it was over $2 million in terms of debt owed by patients. And that is why sometimes I say we, in addition to what the government is doing in terms of heavily subsidizing healthcare here in St. Vincent and Grenadines, you have persons who don't pay their hospital bills. And then at the end of the day, there are persons who will still complain and say, well, they didn't get X, Y, and Z. But it takes money to make sure procure the medications. It takes money to ensure that the hospital is maintained. It takes money to pay the staffing of the hospital and the 90 plus doctors that they have down there. But despite all of that, the Prime Minister announced that the government is looking to have a review in terms of the bills that are owed to the Milton Keaton Memorial Hospital. And those bills, of course, up to the independence period, and therefore have those more or less waived in a sense. That is up to the independence period last year. But in Barbados, the government is telling patients, even if you can't pay, we'll organize a plan for you. The government ain't saying they're going to waive or whatever. You gotta pay up your money, because at the end of the day, it takes money to run these health facilities and also to procure medicinal medications. But here in St. Vincent and Grenadines, the government, of course, through the Prime Minister's speech on Independence Day, said that there will be a complete review of all debts owed to MCMH, Milton Keaton Hospital, and other health facilities across the country by patients and families up to Independence Day last year. And this, of course, with the intention of providing relief and waiver of debt. Here in St. Vincent and Grenadines, not awash with money, but the government that is caring, and of course, in our 44th year of independence, looking to at least give back. In addition to that, as well, Prime Minister Gonzalez also announced that 1,185 farmers who owe the Farmer Support Company, the FSC, which in terms of the accumulation of debt is over $4.5 million. Not a small money, you know, not 500,000 or 300,000 or 200,000 or 900. Well, 900,000 ain't even small money. Over $4.5 million that some farmers, over 1,185 farmers owe the Farmer Support Company. That all those farmers will receive a 50% waiver on the principal that they owe to the Farmer Support Company, and a full waiver of the interest owed to the Farmer Support Company. You hear me? Again, St. Vincent isn't awash with money. And the idea of the Farmer Support Company is more like a revolving fund, in that we give you, well, we lend you money to support your farming business. You, of course, repay, and that money can be redistributed again to other farmers who are looking for assistance. But $4.5 million accumulated overall by debt owed or not paid by farmers, and the government is giving a 50% waiver on the principal and full waiver in terms of interest to those 1,185 farmers who, of course, owe the Farmer Support Company. But it's now 5 minutes past 11 o'clock here in St. Vincent and Grenadines, so we'll take a break, pay some bills, and then resume with the program.
FM.
The flavor nice, it's locally made. Affordable price, Lord, up to $3 retail. When you see we line it, with the red and white case, show me what you like it. It's cigarette from Empire, Holdings Limited. It's cigarette from Empire, Holdings Limited. With over 60 years experience, hold the best tobacco, best ingredients. Yeah. This is your boy Lou to say, support local, buy your cigarettes from Empire Holdings Limited. 10 cigarettes in a pack for up to $3 retail. Remember, smoking is not for minors.
Yes, sir.
Our industry relies on all of us to play our part. We take pride in showcasing our beautiful island, our craft, our cuisine, and our warm Vincentian hospitality.
Each of us play a crucial role in showcasing our vibrant tourism industry. We can create spaces where visitors can unwind, connect with nature, and embrace tranquility of our beautiful surroundings.
We need everyone on board to help us create an exceptional experience for our guests.
Join us at our National Tourism Community Consultations as we shape the future of tourism in St. Vincent and the Grenadines.
It's everyone's business, yeah. Live it, love it, embrace it.
It all started with a penny. For over 85 years, we have invested in our farmers, fishermen, people, and our country. When we were called to serve, we were here. We understand what is valuable to our people and our country. That is why we support all industries, including tourism. We are the bridge towards a brighter future and economic growth. When our people, government, and businesses called upon us, we were here. 85 years later, First National Bank St. Lucia Limited is here for you.
That could have been you. An accident that could have been avoided because your tires had almost no grip on the road. Safety is a factor that should never be overlooked when it comes to your car or whatever you drive. SVG Tire Sales and Services in Falls Avenue and in Arnisvale carries a wide selection of quality new tires to fit any car, truck, minibus, or SUV, so you can experience a comfortable and safe commute every time. We are agents for the world's most reliable brands on and off the road, including Kenda Tires, the king of the mountain, Cooper Tires, king of the road and track, Ostone, the king of the outback, and High Fly, the king of the Asian highway. We also carry new tires for light or heavy-duty trucks from MRF, High Fly, and Linglong. A reliable set of new tires keep you, your passengers, and your payload always in the safe lane. So when you need quality tires with reliability at 100%, choose SVG Tire Sales and Services in Kingstown, 457-1467, or in Arnisvale, 456-6444. SVG Tire Sales and Services. Performance and reliability proven when the rubber meets the road.
Whether you're ripping it up on the highway or taking a casual Sunday drive, OT Tire Limited is second to none when delivering excellence at reasonable prices. We offer new and used tires, tire repair and installation. We are the only place that offers nitrogen, which helps with gas consumption and ride comfort. Supplying you with brand name tires like Maxxis, Kumo, Good Ride, Westlake, and Triangle.
Boom! Enjoy the VIP style customer waiting lounge with refreshments and free Wi-Fi. You know what I'm saying, yo? This is Skinny Fabulous, and when it comes to tires, nobody makes it easier than OT. Got me run the road. When me OT car tire.
Follow OT Tire on Instagram, Facebook, and Twitter today.
Hey, boom! Run the road with OT tires.
For over 20 years, Cubano Limited professionally delivers top quality products and exceptional service. Located in Sand Hill and Kingstown, we are open Monday to Friday, 8 a.m. to 5 p.m. and on Saturdays, 8 a.m. to 1 p.m. We supply animal feed, dog and cat food, animal supplements, a wide range of floral supplies, nursery pots, ground cover and shade cloth, and much more. We also stock a wide range of motor vehicle supplies, including automotive oils, filters for all vehicles, engine coolants, and much more. Email us today at Cubano_1@hotmail.com or call us today 451-2911 or 493-7175. Cubano Limited, professional, top quality, and exceptional service.
99.9, the heart and soul of St. Vincent and the Grenadines. WEFM is SVG.
So yes, we are back in studio of WEFM. I am your host, Augustine Ferdinand. Remember, the number to call and interact with us is 784-457-9997. That's the landline number, 784-457-9997. And you can call or send us messages on WhatsApp number 457-9997. That's 457-9997. I know. Yes, we were looking at some of the announcements made by Prime Minister Dr. Ralph Gonsalves on independence. They are looking overall at independence in general. And before we took the break, I was making mention of the 1,185 farmers who have loaned at the Farmer Support Company, and where the government is more or less offering waivers, a waiver of 50% to those farmers who owe the Farmer Support Company in the aggregate of over $4.8 million, and where they will receive a 50% waiver on what they're to repay, and full waiver in terms of interest to be paid to the Farmer Support Company. Again, those of you who are farmers out there who are listening, take advantage of this. Make sure go in and try to talk with those at the Farmer Support Company and pay up. So that's the waiver, 50% in terms of your principal owed, and full waiver in terms of interest, which no doubt will give you a high level of relief in terms of monies that you are to repay. It's part of the way celebrating 44 years and the government being a caring government is making sure that it gives you a helping hand indeed. But I see we have another call coming in. Let's take the call. Good morning, call. Welcome to Shakeup.
Good morning, sir.
Yes, good morning.
Marvin. Mr. Boyman,
Yes, greetings.
I was calling back again, calling back. I want to tell you something, but I have to do happy video. Can't tell you funny video.
Okay.
I want to tell that.
Let me try. Is this the because I tried to call a particular individual. Is this the person who told me that they have a daughter? Okay, all right. Okay, it's all right. I'll call off it. Okay, it's all right.
Calling back after.
All right. I think I remember the voice. So I'll call off here. I tried to call the number, but I didn't get through. But I believe this is the person who had a daughter, maybe looking for a job or skill or something, and I didn't get through. But let's take this other call. Good morning, caller.
Good morning, comrade. How are we doing?
Greetings, greetings, Minister. Good morning.
You know, I always have to begin by telling you how great a job that you are doing and how proud I am, and the people of St. Vincent and the Grenadines are very proud of you as a young man continuing to shine the light to bring information to the people. And I really want to encourage you to continue to do the excellent work that you are doing. Persons throughout the globe are following this program and they're listening to you. And I realize that you spend a lot of time preparing for these programs because it is always an educational journey. I am just calling to update on a meeting just held with the butchers. And as we are aware, there was an issue that was raised publicly on social media, persons on the newspapers, about the butchers and the exploitation of animals from St. Vincent and the Grenadines. And we opened the dialogue, farmers, butchers, and other stakeholders. And the meeting this morning held at the ministry's conference room, we had about 8 to 10 butchers there representing a very broad cross-section of butchers throughout the country. And it was brought to the fore, as we are aware of the facts, that there is a significant demand, and this demand is increasing, for locally produced beef.
Yes.
Beef produced here in St. Vincent and the Grenadines. And we took it right back to one of the root causes, the fact that the Argyle International Airport has opened an excellent opportunity for persons to invest in the tourism sector. And even if we remove from the discussion, very important, I want for listeners to follow this, even if we remove from the discussion the exploitation of animals to Grenada, we have a demand for beef to satisfy the needs of Sandals, Marriott, which is on the horizon, and the expansion taking place throughout the country. The Minister of Tourism was clear that the numbers for the cruise industry are going to be up this year, this season. And with that, you're going to have persons needing more hamburgers. Persons are going to utilize food in more restaurants. So it was clear that this is not St. Vincent, Grenada, St. Vincent exporting to Grenada issue simplicity, but that all around there was an increase in the demand for beef. The meeting had several recommendations, and one is that a special envelope, similar to the one that we did for the fishers through a credit union,
yes,
be done for persons who want to expand in the production of cattle. And also we discussed sheep and goats as well. And to have an off-taker who will have an automatic deduction done from the sale of these animals to repay the credit union for the loan payment.
Okay.
So that was discussed, and I was really happy that the discussion moved away from a narrow discussion about should we send animals to Grenada to one that was broader and dealing with the issue of how do we increase production and productivity. It was also noted in the meeting that some of these would be medium to long-term plans, but there is going to be a need for some immediate issues to be addressed. And for example, it was raised by some of the butchers that the exporting of some of the pedigree animals, that we have to try to speak to the farmers to see how we can have these animals remain in the country to increase the national herd.
Okay.
And that is a conversation that I am going to have next week with the farmers, because I'm aware that there is a farmers association, cattle farmers association, doing excellent work, working with the cattle farmers in the country. The issue also of having a conversation with the farmers, because it came out in the meeting that some of the butchers are saying there is a need for greater solidarity between the butchers and the farmers. But some farmers are saying that they prefer to export, to sell to the exporter, than to sell to the local butchers.
But I believe
And
that
that
has
is
something to do with the market price as well that they're getting.
It has something to do with the market price. So what the butchers are saying is that they are willing to pay the price.
Okay.
So again, and it's coming out of a meeting that I had recently, that when we have these delicate situations, we have to solve them through dialogue. And the dialogue has to be open and transparent. So I know that there are farmers, cattle farmers who are listening, and they will hear that the minister met with the butchers. Well, I'm also going to meet with the cattle farmers, with the farmers, because there is a need for lines of consensus for us to come to an amicable solution. I also placed on the table the opportunity of visiting Nicaragua and Brazil, having some farmers and butchers also visit Brazil and Nicaragua before year end, because we definitely have to increase the production, and we will need the support of friendly governments, and we will need technical support from countries with large production. And the butchers welcomed this, and it is something that we're going to work on. But you can anticipate, you can expect several announcements coming out of this. I know that the housewife who is listening is saying, well, the part that I'm concerned about is that the price for beef this Christmas for my pot roast. It was also noted in the meeting that if you do a cursory analysis of the expansion of guest houses, Airbnb, restaurants between Kingstown and Diamond Dairy, that a lot of these persons are now consuming locally produced beef. And it is putting a significant pressure on the demand.
Yes.
So I heard earlier you were mentioning and noting about the
waiver.
The issue, the waiver, yes. And the fact that the Prime Minister in the budget, in the independence speech, noted that for persons who have outstanding balances for the Farmer Support Company, that these balances will be reduced by 50%. Yes. And I just want for our farmers to take heed to this, and also the interest.
Yes.
100% waiver on the interest. There were some persons who were looking at the sums that they had outstanding as large sums. Now it is significantly reduced. And now that we have more persons from the credit unions, we have the banks coming on board to provide loans. When you go to these lending institutions, you can speak of the fact that when they ask you the question, because they would ask you, do you have any other agriculture loan? any outstanding. You can say, well, I had a loan with the farmer support company. It's down by XYZ%. It's down by 50%, the principal, and the interest is totally waived. And this is all part of the recovery post-volcanic eruption. We are aware that we are in a period where we are preparing for what is coming next year with the opening of standards and the significant need for an increase in production. It is really an excellent time to be alive as a farmer. And we have to thank Almighty God because, you know, when we had the total removal of the preferences for bananas, 2009, we were hit by black leaf spot, Sigatoka. Yes. Then we had several droughts. We had Hurricane Thomas. We had a recent heat wave. And the impacts of the COVID-19 pandemic, the Russia-Ukraine conflict with increasing prices for fertilizer and seed, and the 32 explosive eruptions of La Soufrière. And here we are, still pushing, still fighting, still advancing the cause, still exporting Dasheen to the United States of America, still now looking for new markets in Europe, still being able to send a boat from St. Vincent and the Grenadines, or boats, one going to Barbados, one going to Trinidad every single week. This speaks to the issue of the resilience of our farmers. Even though we're fighting the vagaries of climate change, the farmers of St. Vincent and the Grenadines, we are never going to give up. And I want to thank the farmers for supporting the policies of the government. And that's why when the Prime Minister sat down to write that speech, he ensured that he placed in that speech something for the farmers. Also, coming closer to the end of this year, I'm going to do a presentation to the cabinet, the report on the minimum wage issue that we are going to address very early next year. That was also mentioned in the speech because it comes under the Ministry of Labor, which is under my portfolio. So for the farmers who are listening, the housewives who are listening, the persons who are stakeholders in the agriculture sector, this is an important period for us and we must rise to the occasion. I'm following what's happening throughout the rest of the world where persons are saying, well, there's a possibility that the world can become food insecure. I had a meeting last night with about 5 or 6 young persons. They want to establish a spice association in the country called Spice Up. And they very soon will be traveling to Grenada to speak to technicians there so that they can expand on the general policy of the government to establish a modern cocoa condiments and spices subsector. So we are not only seeing expansion in Dasheen and other root crops, we're not only seeing the fleet expansion program, we're not only hearing about the discussion for the expansion in livestock, but the spices also something that we are looking at. And I want to encourage young persons who are listening. This is your country. This is your time. Fall in line and let us continue to develop the country.
Minister, just a question. I was my friend there from Mr. Gibson from just over the road at Gun Hill.
Yes.
Okay, wonderful.
Oh no, he was not there.
Oh.
But we will get the information to him.
Okay.
Yes, but all his other friends were there.
Okay.
Yes. I don't know if it's because it was advertised, but for some reason he wasn't in attendance. But I'll definitely give him a call so that we could have a conversation. And that's the kind of dialogue that we're going to promote.
Wonderful. Thank you very much, Minister.
Okay.
And
I am heading now to the constituency because there are 2 big projects being done at the market, the vegetable market there at Union. And we're doing some work there. And the chief engineer is also plotting the route between the bus shed in Diamond right around to Mount Grenan because we're going to do significant work. So I got a quotation of over $9 million for that work that will start very early next year. And we're going to push to get the work done on the clinics, Diamonds, Greg's, and Lomans. And throughout the constituency, we have persons benefiting from the housing program. There's several houses that from time to time we will go and do the visits later on next week. So things are happening in South Central Window. Things are happening in the country.
Yes, indeed.
Thank you
very much, Minister Caesar. Again, giving an update because, as he said, there's a significant uptick for meat, for beef here in St. Vincent and Grenadines. And of course, as we look forward to next year with the opening of Sandals, we already have Maya. Later next year, also Holiday Inn, Express. You have other hotels in terms of their room occupancy and their expansion. And you have other businesses here in the country, restaurants and the like. They're demanding beef. And as I always said, the answer isn't to reduce or cut back or to totally stop exportation of cattle elsewhere, but basically is simply to ramp up the supply, because this demand is creating a significant opportunity. If you cut back on the export, you're not reaching the potential. So we have to increase the production, and the minister, of course, giving an update as to the meeting that he had with the different butchers in the country, listening to their concerns, coming up with solutions. And coming out of that meeting is a possible solution in having what the government already have in terms of the fisher folks, where they can go to credit union and take out a loan which is partially guaranteed by the state, whether to purchase vessel, engine and the like. Similar arrangement also that is being looked at or considered coming out of the meeting for those within the livestock industry and in terms of the butchers here in St. Vincent and Grenadines. And as the minister said, that he is also going to have a meeting with the farmers, those of you who have who are involved in rearing of livestock here in St. Vincent and Grenadines, because we have to meet that demand. And that is why when persons say, well, you know, why you pushing tourism and not agriculture? Pushing tourism is also a way of pushing agriculture. Both of them, they're like brothers and sisters. And in order to make this thing work well and for the entire country to benefit or to feel the benefits, you have to make sure, while one is being pushed, that the farmers themselves also can step up to the task in providing the supply, providing for that demand that is being created in the market as a result of increased room stock in the country, and where more and more visitors will demand these sort of delicacies. And that is what the Ministry of Agriculture at the helm is taking the lead in making sure that our farmers are getting there. Of course, you know, the minister mentioned one thing. I mean, we talk about the waiver, 50% waiver on existing loans by 1,185 farmers to the Farmer Support Company, and the full waiver in terms of interest. But the minister mentioned something as well, and I think we forget it, you know, fertilizers. Many farmers across St. Vincent and Grenadines received fertilizers at concessionary rate because they were heavily subsidized by the state, and even for free in some instances. And that also assists in production capacity of farmers. And that is why sometimes when you hear from the opposition and elsewhere that the government has neglected agriculture, my question to you, do any of these things suggest that the government has neglected agriculture, or that the government doesn't see the potential of agriculture here in St. Vincent and Grenadines? No, it doesn't. But there are more coming out of the announcements, as the minister mentioned, and he is also Minister of Labor, I'm talking about Minister Caesar, is that Prime Minister Dr. Al Gonzalez mentioned where coming next year, persons can anticipate an increase in minimum wage. You hear me? Next year, 2024, workers here in St. Vincent and Grenadines can anticipate an increase in minimum wage. Again, I mentioned earlier that early this year, public servants received their 2.5% increase on the salary. As a matter of fact, the increase is even more because they had also a 2% reduction in personal income tax from 30% to 28%. And next year, public servants can expect a 2% increase again because of the 7% increase over 3 years in terms of the package. But workers across the country in general now can expect an increase in minimum wage. And we must remember not to forget that this government has increased minimum wages over 3 times. Yeah. While the NDP only increased it once. Manager, when the leader of the opposition tell you that the best time in this country was under the NDP, where over 17-year period, they only increased the minimum wage once. And guess by how much now? Just $8. Once, despite compounded inflation over the 17 years. But this government increased it 3 times, and we're looking to increase it again because this is a workers' government. You're the workers of this country. You're the ones who push the economy. You're also the consumers. And therefore, that is why the government of St. Vincent and Grenadines, we also take care of you because you're the backbone of the economy. So next year, you can anticipate an increase in minimum wage. Of course, upon the full review, and as the minister mentioned, full review of the report from the Wages Council, which is currently in progress. Another thing, and my friend and brother, Robert Henry, made mention of it, the increase in oil prices. And the Prime Minister announced that the government will continue providing the relief to customers of VINLEC in terms of not having any VAT whatsoever applied to their bills of customers consuming 250 units or less in terms of energy consumption. So once you, as a customer, and based on the numbers here in St. Vincent and the Grenadines, based on the numbers, you have a very large majority of VINLEC customers who more or less do not pay VAT on their electricity bill because the average consumption of electricity by residential customers in St. Vincent and Grenadines is 140 units. Yeah, 140 units. And what the Prime Minister mentioned is that for persons who use 249 units and less in terms of energy consumption will not see any VAT applied on their bills whatsoever. That has started over a year ago and is continuing. And again, it will provide relief because, as you know, we don't have any control over oil and the cost of oil, but it is increasing nonetheless. And because energy here in St. Vincent and Grenadines is mainly generated via diesel, by fossil fuel, you will see a slight increase on the bill because of that. So the government is continuing this relief to residential customers here in St. Vincent and Grenadines. But again, It's now 23 minutes to the hour of 12 o'clock, and we'll take a break, pay some bills, and resume with the program.
99.9 WEFM.
I was looking for I was looking for a cough syrup, looking for a drug to help this pain here in my throat. I needed something fast to help me with my cold. Then I turned around and there you go. I went into a store and I found what I needed when I shouted
Super Health Pharmacy. We're located on Grenville Street, formerly Isles Boutique. Come in and check out our wide variety of over-the-counter prescriptions, medications, personal care products, and much more. Take advantage of our free delivery services, blood pressure, sugar, and cholesterol testing. Open Mondays to Thursdays from 8 a.m. to 6:30 p.m. Fridays, 8 a.m. to 5 p.m. Call or WhatsApp us at 497-8737 or 457-8737. Super Health Pharmacy. Your health is our priority.
and I found what I needed when I shouted super.
Ready, set, serve. Singer, your favorite family store is now online. Log on today at www.singersvg.com and enjoy our store and products right at your fingertips. Now online are your trusted brands that you have come to love. Refrigerators to chest freezers, gas cookers to toasters, air fryers, mattresses, living room sets, and so much more. Browse our products, check the specs, compare brands and prices, and request parts all online. We have also made bill payments easier, more convenient, and simpler just for you. Log on to www.singersvg.com to learn more. Singer, your family company is keeping up with you and the times. Visit our website today and experience a whole new world of Singer, your trusted online family company.
It's a long pass from Javin Sutherland up to Alex Stewart. Alex Stewart over to Onyx Anderson. Anderson Jones pass the defender. He shoots. He scores. Goal, 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 goal. It's the 2023 Nations League qualifiers for both men and women. Back-to-back football for the rest of the year. September, October, November, and December. Football has got you covered. Dixie Heat takes on Belize, Bermuda, and French Guiana in home and away games. And there's more. Lady Heat takes on Bermuda, Dominican Republic, and Barbados. It's the Nations League qualifiers. Follow our social media pages for more information at SVG Football Federation and Instagram at SVGFF_football. It's Football Mania. Stay tuned for more information.
Do you want to feel clean or refreshed after using the bathroom? Whether at home, work, or play? Welcome to My Smart Toilet Seats. All of our products wash your private parts after using the bathroom without the use of your hands. Let's hear what our national table tennis champion, Damian Dublin, has to say.
I tried it and it works. There are 4 options. Simply add an attachment to your existing toilet seat, or choose a non-electric seat, or better, an electric seat that washes and dries you with warm water and air. Lastly, get a complete smart toilet that also flushes itself. What are you waiting for? Get your smart toilet seat today. Be smart, be refreshed, be clean, be a winner like me.
Our smart toilet seat is available throughout St. Vincent at retail outlets with the orange flags. You can call us at 457-1703 or visit our website at justwashit.vc.
99.9, the heart and soul of St. Vincent and the Grenadines. WEFM is SVG.
Let nobody ignore the fact. There was a time when NDP messed up and had a right to be put out of office. We took people for granted and we were getting stale. But we see what it took NDP so many years to do. It has taken even shorter time for the ULP to achieve.
I'm pointing the NDP in the direction Dr. Friday is trying. But Dr. Friday is trying to be Dr. Gonsalve. He doesn't have the charisma, he doesn't have the charm, and you could see the artificial acting by Dr. Friday. The people of St. Vincent are still in a position that is weak.
But the thing that the ULP has is that even though Dr. Gonsalves had some vision and has demonstrated it, he has a will to get things done. The best reflections of that is the Ramok Bridge, when everybody was saying this couldn't be done, and the Argyle International Airport. That is a man with some will and some determination and some mental capacity to do things or to see things through.
I've learned in politics to take the Prime Minister at his word. If he tells you so, believe him.
So, yes, ladies and gentlemen, we are back in the studio of WEFM. Remember, you can call us via the number 457-9997. That's 457-9997. And also send us messages or call on WhatsApp as well via 457-9997. So we are continuing. Speaking of the different announcements made by Prime Minister Dr. Gonsalves, of course, Minister Sabotu Caesar updated us on the meeting he had with the butchers, and where, there's progress to be made in how we ramp up production in terms of providing beef here in St. Vincent and Grenadines, in meeting the demand. But let us take this call. Good morning, call. Welcome to Shakeup.
Good morning, Dr. Ferdinand.
Greetings, man. Long time I haven't told you. Greetings. Hi there, man.
Yeah. Yes, I love your program. Yeah, all the time when you're on, you just make my day. But what I call for, I want to know, although I know it, I want to ask one simple question. Reason for that.
Repeat. Wait, we didn't hear you for a while. How many
Prime Minister Simmons have?
Okay, we have in the past Robert Milton Cato, Sir James Mitchell.
No. I took it President Dino.
Oh.
I did politics all over the world. And one thing Prime Minister in country give a speech. And never hear the opposition come and butt it. But when I see Friday and coming out, that's not an independent speech. It's the campaign speech. All of a sudden they have a plan. But according to Bing, where they getting the money from? Where they getting the money from? He come and make it be Prime Minister done. See what he got to do for the thing Mr. Nigga. When you coming now,
my friend. Now you're here bringing this up. I read from the news, and I heard, actually the NDP sent out a press release. Yeah, they sent out a press release after the Prime Minister made his different announcements. Right. And the leader of the opposition, they sent out a release more or less saying that the Unity Labour Party and the government is adopting policies from the opposition. And let me tell you what. Let me tell you what he went on to say. He said, let me look for it here. It says Dr. Gonsalves announced that his government intends to cut interest rate on student loan. The reduction of interest rate on student loan is an NDP policy. I want to tell persons here now that you can go and check the Unity Labour Party's manifesto for the year 2020. And you can go, I'm going to tell you, you can go on page 71 of the Unity Labour Party's manifesto, not the youth manifesto, the main one. You can go on page 71 and see where it says disadvantaged student loan program, where increasing funding, waive of interest, and also looking to reduce the interest rate. Yeah, page 71.
Come on. You see, good thing is days gone by. You understand? According to Jimmy Cliff, you can fool some people sometime. We can't fool them all the time. We're going on not forward, but they had a plan. Because I use the word slogan. According to Tommy Jones, they like save. They're behind time.
and here now, here the joke. He went on to say that other policies have been proposed by them, which the ULP has adopted, including expanding the YES program, including expanding the technical skills TVET program, including the reduction of custom duties for taxi operators and
Come on.
introducing stiffer penalties for crime. You could imagine that? Them
Exactly.
fellas go Canada, made an announcement after the Prime Minister made an announcement, after the government made an announcement, after the Minister of Tourism made an announcement on reducing custom duties and providing concessions for tour and taxi operators, and talking about government thieving ideas. Boy, I tell you.
And one minute before I go, I welcome the Minister of Agriculture with the local. I used to have a problem. You see, cattle skin for in America is king. So then sometimes when you send all the cattle into integrating and the kill, well, you understand where we're going to get cattle skin from? Because cattle skin is a nice product, you know. Because when you do so and you make one of the best soup you can get, the cattle skin soup. Go on and boil that and you come down and take the gel for the.
Yes.
And the first must stop in the back, so you good to go. So you have a wonderful day.
Yes, man. Thank you for your contribution. I'm happy you raised that, because when I saw the foolishness by the opposition sending out a release to say that the Unity Labour Party government thief and ideas. Let me go back to the thing. Now that we're on this. It says the reduction of interest rate loan we stole from them. Like I said, you could go on page 71 of the Unity Labour Party's 2020 manifesto, where we talk about reducing interest rate loan. As a matter of fact, even tax reduction. You can go in Labour Party's manifesto and see where the government has said that its intention is really and truly to reduce income tax overall to 25%. They're about it. We are now at 28%. And to remind persons that when this government came to office, personal income tax was 40%. We are now in the 20s. And again, you can go on page 71 and see where the Unity Labour Party in its 2020 manifesto talk about reducing interest rate for students who receive loan under the student loan company. The other thing they say, well, expanding the YES program. Well, first of all, it is this government, through collaboration and friendship of the government and people of Taiwan, that started the YES program. The NDP opposed it. They make a 180 degree and say that they're going to continue it, which we know is a lie. And then they talk about what? Including private sector placements. We've been doing that for quite a while now. But as usual, whoever wrote this speech for the leader of the opposition, he know that. And he blindly repeated the thing without even proofreading the speech before he read it before his audience. He talk about expanding TVET. When the former foreign minister, Louis Straker, was in office, that's where the Sky program came out of it. Through collaboration with the United Kingdom, the government of the United Kingdom. Is this government that built that you have the wonderful facility behind Bishop's College? You have the Pettibodel Technical Institute. Is this government, through the modernization of the community college, offering different associate degree programs, which again the NDP rubbished in terms of TVET skills, and where we know many persons through the same technical skills program at the college were placed on attachments even as far as Barbados. What they're talking about is their idea and government take it from them. Very nonsense. We have on-site program where you had different persons also placed in private sector companies for training. And then they talk about reduction of customs duties for taxi operators. Come from that. One is after the fact, the Minister of Tourism, through his press conference, when he made mention of concessions to be offered to taxi and tour operators. And then the leader of the opposition go Canada and announce it, that he's going to do that when it's already being done. It kind of dotish, you know, I don't really like to say that word, but the kind of foolishness the opposition does really care on with. There really shows that the people, they're really void of ideas, you know. They're so void of ideas now that what they want to say is that, boy, the government take all the ideas, so they have none. Man, just tell the people, look, you're going support to the government. When and that is that. Just tell the people that. It's not our fault you have no ideas. Last time, some years ago, when the leader of the opposition went abroad, when Post was asked, well, what are you going to do? The man tell the leader of the opposition, tell the person asking the question, vote for me and you go see. Clearly, you have no ideas. None whatsoever. So, and there's even more that I haven't mentioned. I know this one in particular for those, including the omnibus operators. And I spoke with one or two of them even before this, and I know they will welcome it, where the government of St. Vincent and the Grenadines will more or less, in terms of tires coming in the country, will waive some of the, well, not waive, but reduce the duties on the importation of tires as of January 1st next year. And I know that that is welcoming because, as the Prime Minister mentioned, that, you know, on the market, you have a lot of second-hand tires. And I'm also a victim of it. For my vehicle, I really and truly, it's very difficult to get brand new tires. And many other posters experience this. And therefore, over time, you know, whether you're doing regular run-ins or like how far you're traveling, before you know it, the tires on them, the tread on them worn down. And if you have new tires, they last longer, they're much better, they're more effective in terms of grip on the road. And omnibus operators will benefit from this a lot because it will, at least, they won't have to be spending so much money on replacing tires on a regular basis because they also do frequent run-ins. So to ensure road safety, proper effective road safety measure, the government will provide relief on duty for new tires for all motor vehicles. And like I said, this will also benefit omnibus operators. And then the announcement that I know many persons look forward to every single year, and to remind persons that since 2001, this is the only government within the Western Hemisphere for so long has provided duty-free concession on the importation of barrels around Christmas period, starting from November 15th to the ending of December. I know of recent time, one or two countries, including St. Lucia in the UECS, has implemented such a program. You know, apart from, I know in Antigua as well, they implemented the yes program. These are policies that they see that are very effective. They've also adopted. And we've more or less been like a model. And so now, again this year, duty-free barrel concession. And persons know it. That is why even though I make Prime Minister Gonzalez made the announcement on Independence Day since last month. Even August, persons don't start her barrel and packing barrel because they know that is a regular thing, and their government, a current government, will be providing yet another time barrel concession, which of course help a lot of workers and low-income families here across St. Vincent and the Grenadines. And in addition to that, we must not forget the 1,300 tuition scholarships offered in the middle of this year. We must not forget the 26 5-year fully funded scholarships, where each of those value $600,000, We must not forget also, the Prime Minister made mention of prime grants again. 44 additional grants will be issued, again costing the government $350,000. And this will bring, ladies and gentlemen, the overall number of recipients of prime to 1,300 recipients. 1,300. And you see it across St. Vincent and Grenadines, those who have the hair salons, those who have their car wash services, those who have their auto shops, those who have the little catering services, those who are into salon business, graphics, agriculture, different small businesses across St. Vincent and Grenadines, different young entrepreneurs benefited and continue to do so under prime grant funding. And this one in particular, again, in terms of our nurses here in St. Vincent and Grenadines, where the Prime Minister made mention that the 750 nurses, nursing assistants, and nursing aides, as of January 2024, will be paid a monthly supplementary non-taxable income over a period of 6 months, which will cost the government $1 million. And remember, our nurses, they fought valiantly during the height of the COVID-19 pandemic period, and we give thanks to them. I know, I saw carried on Eyewitness News where the vice president of the NDP, so when one is say that we thief in ideas, another one say now is in campaign mode. But we are simply giving thanks and we are simply giving back. You know, I think we have about a minute or so. Leacock said that the government in campaign mode. What were the announcements? We did mention since last year and even during the height of the COVID-19 pandemic, we have to give our nurses something. Government is doing that. We've always distributed scholarships. Hundreds. Government continuing to do that. We've always been assisting our farmers, our fisher folks. That is being done here. Only this year, we had salary increases. The government already made commitment of increasing minimum wage. That is being announced here. So, I mean, seriously, this is something that the government has always been doing. We're a government for the poor, the working class, the ordinary man, and we are simply giving relief in challenging times. That's what we are doing. But of course, you're in the opposition. You only see party and election and politics. That is why even Leacock said that we can't allow these investments to happen because, boy, as people get more jobs, they're not likely to vote the NDP. So that is why you'll always think this way. But this is, as people know, normal modus operandi of the government in giving back and helping people, just like the barrel concessions, you know. And I always find it laughable when the opposition go down this particular line. But